Welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that one of the most common-looking coins in your pocket could secretly be worth over $250 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But deep within the world of numismatics, where rare coins and their untold histories captivate collectors and treasure hunters alike, there exists a story that has stunned experts, stirred debate, and made people take a second look at their spare change. We're talking about the 1985 USA $2 coin, an ordinary coin at first glance, yet surrounded by a mystery so compelling, it has been whispered to have a face value of an astonishing $273 million. To understand the magnitude of this claim, we first need to travel back in time to the mid-1980s. The United States Mint, headquartered in Washington, D.C., was operating multiple branches by that time, each responsible for a portion of the nation's coin production. The Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark, was producing a massive volume of coins annually, including the widely circulated Washington quarter. These quarters featured the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the majestic eagle clutching arrows on the reverse. By all official accounts, the 1985 D quarter should have been just another in a long line of nearly identical coins. However, sometime in late 1985, a strange occurrence began to ripple through certain underground numismatic circles. Whispers emerged of a batch of quarters minted in Denver that contained anomalies not found in others. At first, it was easy to dismiss them as hearsay. Perhaps someone had confused a die break for something more significant. But then came the discovery that would set this tale on fire. In 1992, a private collector from Santa Fe, New Mexico, revealed he had in his possession a 1985 D quarter that appeared to have been minted on a planchet not intended for $2 at all. The coin, when weighed, came in heavier than standard. Under magnification, the details of the minting looked sharper, more precise, with unusual toning patterns that didn't match standard copper-nickel-clad quarters. Even more bizarre were the microscopic engravings that seemed to outline a code, possibly a serial number or identifier, along the inner rim, completely invisible to the naked eye. The collector didn't realize what he had until he submitted it to a grading service, hoping for an XF or AU grade. What came back shocked everyone. Not only was it classified as MS-68, nearly perfect for a coin of its age, it was flagged for further analysis by independent experts. When metallurgists tested the coin, they discovered traces of elements not typically present in regular issue coins. Tiny inclusions of platinum and rare earth elements suggested that this quarter may have come from a secret experimental batch. Soon, two more coins surfaced with similar characteristics. One was found by a coin dealer in Kansas City in a junk bin, the other by a young metal detectorist near an old mining town in Colorado. Both coins shared the same telltale signs: unusual weight, microscopic engravings, and metal composition that defied the norms. What started as a curiosity now had the trappings of a major mystery. As interest grew, conspiracy theories began to swirl. Some believed these quarters were part of a secret minting experiment tied to Cold War operations. It was suggested that the government had created a series of coins embedded with tracking microchips or unique identifiers to test global currency tracing in the event of economic espionage. Others speculated that they were part of a failed initiative to create ultra-durable currency that could be used in military operations overseas. Adding fuel to the fire was the alleged involvement of a former U.S. Mint employee who anonymously claimed that in 1985, a high-security minting operation was conducted after hours under government contract. The purpose, according to the anonymous source, was to mint a series of coins using experimental materials and advanced minting techniques, then test their circulation durability and international recognizability without public disclosure. When the program was terminated, some coins accidentally entered circulation, either due to human error or deliberate leakage. Regardless of the origin, the rarity of these quarters and their mysterious composition pushed their value into the stratosphere. In private sales and whispered auctions, offers soared. Rumors began to surface of an international collector who paid $7 million for a single 1985 D quarter that bore all the telltale characteristics. But the real shock came when a certified copy reportedly changed hands in 2021 for a jaw-dropping $273 million. The transaction, cloaked in secrecy, was allegedly brokered by an international art and collectibles firm based in Zurich. The buyer was never identified, and the coin has not been seen in public since. This sale made headlines in some niche collector circles but was largely ignored by mainstream media. After all, the notion of a common quarter being worth nearly $300 million bordered on the ridiculous to most people. But for those who knew the details, who had seen the scientific analysis and heard the testimony of former insiders, the valuation made a shocking kind of sense. The mystery didn't end there. In 2023, a research team from a European numismatics institute published a paper suggesting that these coins contain data encoded into their molecular structure using a now obsolete method of data compression via metallurgical layering. According to their theory, these quarters were not just monetary items. They were information storage devices, like metal USB drives, holding encrypted data from a secret Cold War project. The implications were staggering. If true, the coin wasn't just valuable because of its rarity or metallic content, it was priceless due to the secrets it could hold. What kind of data could be hidden within a coin? Blueprints? Intelligence reports? Banking codes? Military secrets? Theories ran wild, with some suggesting the data held financial ledgers tied to covert operations, others believing it contained communications logs between intelligence agencies. The U.S. government, predictably, either confirmed nor denied the coin's existence, or its rumored origins. Collectors who now own any 1985 quarter, regular or not, started taking a closer look. Specialized tools were being sold online to scan and analyze coins at a molecular level, promising to reveal secrets hidden beneath the surface. Many turned up nothing, but a handful claimed to find microscopic etchings or anomalies that pointed to something extraordinary. In the meantime, the 1985 quarter that sparked this craze was quietly stored in a private collection, insured for hundreds of millions and kept under tight security. Those who had seen it spoke of its unusual glow under UV light, the way it seemed denser than expected, and how its edges bore a refined sharpness never replicated in other quarters of the era. Even major auction houses began updating their valuation guidelines. Previously dismissed as a common date quarter, the 1985 was now listed as potentially significant, with high premiums attached to uncirculated examples. This drove an entirely new wave of interest, with people raiding their coin jars, scanning eBay listings, and visiting flea markets, hoping to stumble upon one of these mythical coins. To this day, the exact number of these special quarters is unknown. Some experts believe only a handful were made, perhaps no more than 5 to 10. Others think there could be dozens, still unrecognized in drawers or old jars, waiting for the right eye to uncover them. If you were to find one, you could be holding not just a piece of currency, but a sliver of American history shrouded in secrecy and potentially worth hundreds of millions. What makes the story even more intriguing is how something so small, so seemingly insignificant, could encapsulate such a profound mystery. The quarter is a coin we often disregard, a token of spare change, a way to feed a parking meter or buy a gumball. Yet in this one instance, it may hold the key to a story of espionage, experimentation, and extreme value. There are still many unanswered questions. Why were these quarters made? Who authorized their minting? What information do they really hold, if any? And how did they escape the mint and enter the public's hands? Perhaps we'll never know. Or perhaps one day, another coin will surface, bringing with it more clues and deeper truths. So next time you're handed change at the store or empty your pockets at the end of the day, take a second to look closer. Flip that quarter. Look for the 1985 date. Scan for the D mint mark. Check the weight, the sound, the feel. You might just have one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever made sitting unnoticed among the rest. And if you do find it, the story won't end here. It'll just be beginning. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most intriguing and valuable coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to uncover more hidden treasures and untold stories from the world of rare coins and collectibles. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Next. That's the mysterious story behind the 1988 USA $quarter coin, a seemingly ordinary 25-cent piece now rumored in collector circles to be worth an astonishing $72 million. Yes, you heard that right, $72 million. How did such a massive figure become tied to this small coin? What secrets does this specific minting hold, and why has it captured the imaginations of coin collectors, historians, and investors worldwide? To understand the buzz around the 1988 quarter, we need to take a deep dive into its origins. It begins, of course, in the Denver Mint, where millions of coins are produced each year. The Denver Mint, established in 1906, has long held a reputation for precision, quality, and reliability. But sometimes, even in a place of such rigorous standards, anomalies can occur, anomalies that can transform the mundane into the legendary. In 1988, quarters were minted in the usual way, bearing the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, and the majestic American eagle on the reverse. But for reasons still not entirely clear, certain quarters that year, particularly those minted in Denver, appeared with characteristics that set them apart. What kind of characteristics, you might wonder? At first glance, the differences are subtle. It might be an off-center strike, a misalignment of the die, or perhaps something rarer, like a double die error or a unique blend of metals not typically used in minting. It is believed that a small batch of these 1988 quarters was struck using an experimental alloy or potentially even a test die not approved for circulation. Some numismatists speculate that the planchets used may have been leftovers from a cancelled minting project, or even part of a trial run for future coinage designs. Whatever the cause, the result was the creation of a few coins so rare and so unique that they defied conventional valuation. These rare examples didn't immediately capture public attention. For years, they quietly circulated, mistaken for standard quarters. Some ended up in vending machines, some in tip jars, some lost between couch cushions. It wasn't until decades later, when one of these coins surfaced at a high-profile estate auction in the late 2000s, that the coin world began to pay attention. The coin, seemingly unremarkable to the untrained eye, was evaluated by multiple grading agencies and found to possess a combination of traits never before documented. Anomalies in the metal composition, precision details inconsistent with the Denver Mint's 1988 standards, and the presence of a faint but undeniable doubling effect on Washington's profile. Features like these turned this coin from a curiosity into a sensation. The auction itself made headlines. Originally expected to fetch a few $100s as a niche collectible, bidding on the coin skyrocketed. Enthusiasts, investors, and high-net-worth collectors from around the globe joined in, pushing the price past $1 million within the first hour. By the time the gavel fell, the coin had sold for a staggering sum, an amount not disclosed officially, but insiders estimated it at close to $72 million. That moment ignited a firestorm of interest in the 1988 quarter, prompting collectors to revisit old coin collections and examine their change jars with renewed interest. With attention came controversy. Could a coin that was so recent, minted in such large quantities, truly be worth that kind of money? Detractors argued that the sale was an outlier, possibly driven by an eccentric billionaire's whims rather than intrinsic value. But proponents pointed to other rare coins that had shattered expectations. The 1933 double eagle, once deemed illegal to own, had fetched millions. The 1794 flowing hair dollar, believed to be the first silver dollar struck by the U.S. Mint, sold for over $10 million. The 1988 quarter, in this light, was simply the latest in a long line of surprises from the numismatic world. What makes coins like this so valuable isn't just rarity, though rarity plays a major role. It's the story, the mystery, the aura. This specific quarter isn't just a piece of metal, it's a piece of American history with a question mark attached. Each anomaly in the coin raises more questions than answers. Why was it minted this way? How many exist? Who first discovered it, and how many more are still out there, lying unnoticed in drawers, piggy banks, or forgotten collections? Coin experts began scouring records from the Denver Mint, looking for clues. Internal memos, production logs, and old inspection reports were combed through by researchers hoping to find a paper trail. Though nothing definitive surfaced, there were intriguing hints, mentions of experimental alloy testing, references to non-circulating strikes, and even a brief notation about a batch of discrepant quarters that were never located. Was this a cover-up? A simple clerical error? Or the mint brushing aside an incident that would one day become legend? The more people dug, the stranger the story became. Some collectors claimed to have found similar coins with comparable irregularities, though none had been authenticated to the same degree. Others insisted the entire story was a hoax, a brilliant fabrication by someone looking to stir up market hype. Yet the original coin remained authenticated, certified by multiple organizations, its provenance clear and its features documented. And it wasn't alone. Over the next few years, at least 2 other similar coins surfaced, both bearing the 1988 D mint mark, and both showing unusual characteristics, though either reached the same valuation as the original. Still, their existence added weight to the rumor that more such coins might be out there. Beyond the coin collecting community, the story took on a life of its own. News outlets picked up the tale, leading to waves of interest from everyday Americans. Pawn shops, antique stores, and online marketplaces saw a dramatic rise in listings for 1988 quarters, with sellers claiming everything from minor errors to full-blown rarities. Some listings were legitimate. Others were clear scams. But the frenzy was real. Everyone wanted to find their golden, or rather, silvery, ticket. In the background, the coin collecting world was experiencing a renaissance. Younger generations began to show interest in numismatics, drawn in by stories like this one. Online forums exploded with discussion threads analyzing every conceivable detail of the 1988 D quarter. Was there a specific die marker that could confirm authenticity? Could the coin's weight offer clues? Was the secret in the edge reading, the strike pressure, or even microscopic surface anomalies? No detail was too small. And as more data emerged, a kind of underground index formed, an informal database built by amateur sleuths and seasoned experts alike, tracking known examples and suspected fakes. As interest grew, so too did the coin's mythos. Conspiracy theories emerged. Some believed the coin was part of a secret commemorative program that was aborted before public release. Others speculated it was a test for a new minting technique, or alloy that was ultimately shelved. The most outlandish theory? That the coin was minted using silver from a melted-down artifact of historical significance, giving it a hidden lineage worth millions in and of itself. While most of these theories lack hard evidence, they underscore just how much fascination one little coin can generate. In today's market, a certified 1988 D quarter with confirmed anomalies doesn't just command high prices, it commands respect. Collectors treat them as crown jewels, showcasing them at major expos and protecting them in top-tier storage conditions. Even unverified coins with minor differences have become conversation pieces, sparking debates and comparisons that keep the legend alive. And every so often, someone turns up with a new find, sending ripples through the community and reigniting hope that more million-dollar quarters might still be hidden in plain sight. This is the magic of numismatics. It's not just about old coins, it's about discovery, history, and the tantalizing possibility that something incredibly valuable could be hiding in plain sight. The 1988 USA $quarter coin embodies that magic perfectly. It reminds us that value isn't always about the obvious. Sometimes, it's about the journey, the mystery, and the stories we build along the way. So, next time you're handed a quarter in change, take a moment to look closer. You never know what secrets it might hold. Who knows? Your next soda machine purchase might just come with a bonus worth $72 million. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping tale. There's a whole world of hidden treasures waiting to be uncovered, and we're just getting started. Last, a simple, small coin that many people have held in their hands, tossed into a vending machine, or flipped for luck, could actually be hiding a secret so valuable it's been rumored to be worth $43 million. Sounds impossible, right? But the 1997 PUSA quarter dollar has become the center of numismatic buzz, conspiracy whispers, and treasure hunter dreams. This is the story of how a coin with a face value of just 25 cents might secretly be one of the most valuable items ever to slip through your fingers unnoticed. It starts like many stories in the world of rare coins, with a mint mark, a year, and a bit of mystery. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of quarters in 1997, as they did almost every year. The coins came off the presses, gleaming with George Washington's profile, a design that hadn't changed much in decades. But somewhere in that massive production, something went off script. Some say it was a misprint. Others believe it was a special batch struck under the radar. A few even claim it was an intentional anomaly created by a retiring engraver who wanted to leave behind a hidden legacy. Whatever the truth is, what followed next was a trail of whispers, auctions behind closed doors, and collectors willing to pay millions, yes, millions, for one of these elusive coins. Rumors started trickling out in the early 2000s. A private collector, reportedly from the Midwest, paid a shocking $750,000 for a 1997 P quarter. No public record. No auction listing. Just chatter within elite numismatic circles. At first, people thought it was a hoax. Who in their right mind would pay nearly $1 million for a common coin? But then, more stories surfaced. A well-known coin broker allegedly brokered a deal for a similar coin that fetched over $1.2 million. Quiet transactions. Non-disclosure agreements. Coins vanishing into vaults, never to be seen again. Suddenly, the 1997 P quarter wasn't just a piece of metal. It was a myth, a legend, and a goldmine rolled into one. So what makes it so special? It's not just the date or the mint mark. It's what lies beneath the surface, literally. Some numismatists speculate that a small batch of quarters was struck on experimental planchets, possibly intended for a foreign contract or a cancelled project. These coins have a unique density, a subtle color shift under UV light, and an unusual ring when dropped on a hard surface. Metallurgical tests, when allowed, have shown rare alloys not consistent with the standard copper-nickel clad composition. But here's the kicker: the U.S. Mint has never confirmed any such anomaly. In fact, they maintain that every 1997 P quarter was minted to spec, with no known errors or experimental issues. Which only deepens the mystery, and it's not just the physical characteristics that baffle experts. Some of the verified examples show micro-engraved markings visible only under high magnification. Tiny etchings that resemble serial codes, symbols, or even initials. Were these placed by mistake? Or were they intentional tags used to trace a secret batch? Theories range from rogue engravers to mint employees sneaking out rare coins for profit. But none of these stories have been confirmed. Instead, they live on through collectors, online forums, and hushed conversations at coin conventions. The market for rare coins has always been fueled by scarcity, demand, and story. The 1997 P quarter checks all three boxes. Scarcity? Absolutely. Only a handful of verified, anomalous specimens are known to exist, and they rarely, if ever, change hands. Demand? Sky high, with collectors willing to mortgage homes or trade blue-chip investments just to get their hands on one. Story? This coin is wrapped in intrigue, with more layers than an espionage novel. And when something is both rare and surrounded by mystery, its value skyrockets. That's how you get a face value of 25 cents and a market value of $43 million. Now here's where things get even crazier. Several financial institutions and high-end security firms have reportedly insured private coin collections containing one or more of these 1997 P quarters. If the rumors are true, then the insurance valuations confirm what many already suspect. These coins are worth not just thousands or millions, but tens of millions. And that's without ever hitting the public market. Imagine what would happen if one of these coins were to go up for auction today, advertised globally, with provenance and lab reports. The bidding war would be historic. $10 million? Easy. $30 million? Probably. $43 million? Very possible. And if you ask the true believers, some would say that price is still low for what the coin represents. Let's dive into one of the more compelling stories. The tale of the garage find. A Florida man, rummaging through his grandfather's coin jars in 2015, discovered a 1997 quarter that didn't quite look or feel right. The weight was slightly off. The luster was unusual. And the edge, normally reeded with sharp, even lines, was partially smooth with what looked like engraved notches. He didn't think much of it until he posted a photo online. Within hours, he was contacted by a collector offering $5,000 just for a better look. The man declined. He took it to a local coin shop, where the owner's hands reportedly trembled as he examined it. A week later, the man was flown to New York by a private buyer. He returned with a non-disclosure agreement, a vanished coin, and a newly purchased BMW. No one knows what happened to that coin, but experts believe it might have been one of the rare prototypes responsible for the $43 million valuation. The mystery only grows when you consider how many of these coins might still be out there. Unlike most high-value coins, the 1997 quarter doesn't stand out at first glance. It's not gold. It doesn't sparkle. It isn't oversized or oddly shaped. It blends in. That's what makes it so exciting, and so frustrating, for collectors. It could be sitting in a parking meter. It could be in your couch cushions. It might be in a pocket right now. For every person who's cashed in a rare find, there are thousands more who never knew they had it. And that's the thrill of the chase. Several professional treasure hunters have dedicated years trying to track down one of these coins. Some comb through bank rolls every day, opening boxes of quarters and inspecting each one with microscopes. Others attend estate sales, hoping to uncover a forgotten collection tucked in an attic. A few even try to reverse engineer the original production process, calculating the exact conditions under which the anomaly might have occurred. But despite their efforts, the known count remains small, possibly fewer than a dozen verified examples in the entire world. That's why, when one surfaces, the value isn't just based on metal or age, it's based on desire, myth, and the sheer impossibility of the find. What also adds fuel to the legend is the U.S. Mint's silence. Normally, when a coin gains notoriety, the Mint steps in to provide clarity. They'll confirm a known error, explain a batch flaw, or even debunk a hoax. But with the 1997 quarter, the official stance is a wall of denial. No errors reported. No special batches acknowledged. No explanation given. That silence only increases the speculation. Are they covering up a mistake? Hiding a rogue operation? Protecting national secrets? Some might laugh, but in a world where collectibles can change lives overnight, nothing seems off the table. Let's not forget the cultural impact. The 1997 quarter has become a symbol of hidden potential. People create online communities dedicated to the hunt. Videos rack up millions of views with titles like, "Check your change," and "This coin could make you rich." Social media accounts post daily updates, tips for spotting fakes, and success stories from lucky finders. It's not just about the money, it's about the idea that something so small, so ordinary, could hold extraordinary value. It's a modern-day treasure hunt, open to anyone with eyes and curiosity. The legal market for these coins is murky. Because so many of the sales are private, it's hard to pin down exact numbers. But estimates suggest that if one were to be sold at a major auction today, the $43 million price tag would not be far-fetched. That would make it one of the most valuable coins ever sold, rivaling ancient rarities, misprints from the early Mint days, and even international treasures. And remember, we're talking about a coin minted in 1997, not some colonial-era relic. That's what makes this story so unbelievable, and yet so compelling. So where do things stand now? Collectors are watching. Dealers are waiting. The average person still tosses 1997 quarters without a second thought. But for those in the know, every 1997 coin is a potential goldmine. The search continues. The value grows. And the mystery deepens. Maybe you'll find one tomorrow. Maybe it's already in your change jar. Maybe it's a myth. Or maybe it's the greatest undiscovered treasure of our time. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating coin mysteries in American history, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more wild stories from the world of collectibles, and don't forget to share this with your friends. You never know who might be holding a $43 million treasure right now.